Rudy Giuliani set to meet with Fani Willis in Georgia. Meet? I mean, it's not a date, son. You're about to find out. Watch.
Well, I'm going to Georgia, and I'm feeling very, very good about it because I feel like I'm defending the rights of all Americans, as I did so many times as a United States attorney. People like to say I'm different. I'm the same Rudy Giuliani that took down the mafia, that made New York City the safest city in America, reduced crime more than any mayor in the history of any city, anywhere. And I'm fighting for justice. I have been from the first moment. I represented Donald Trump, an innocent man who has now been proven innocent several times. I don't know how many times he has to be proven innocent, and they have to be proven to be liars, actually enemies of our republic, who are destroying rights, sacred rights. They're destroying my right to counsel, my right to be a lawyer. They're destroying his right to counsel. It's not accidental that they've indicted all his lawyers. Never heard of that before. In America, all the lawyers indicted. Now, whether you dislike or you like Donald Trump, let me give you a warning. They're going to come for you. When the political winds shift, as they always do, let us pray that Republicans are more honest, more trustworthy, and more American than these people in charge of this government. Because if our government is conducted this way, and the system of justice is politicized and criminalized for politics, your rights are in jeopardy and your children's. Donald Trump told you this. They weren't just coming for him or me. Now they've indicted people in this case. I don't even know who they are.
He knows who Ruby Freeman is and her daughter. Doesn't he know who they are? Just tried to destroy their lives. They had to leave their homes because of what Rudy and his friend, it was the lady with the big eyes. Was that Sidney Powell? This is what these people did. Okay, and it's pretty rich that he's talking about his time in New York. Notice how it's all about him. I brought down the mob. I took unhoused people off the streets and made New York safer. All about you, huh? And yeah, now you are going to go and face Fani Willis, as we reported, according to CNN. Additional figures in the alleged scheme to overturn the 2020 election results in Georgia were in the process of turning themselves in on Wednesday morning, and Rudy, who arrived in Atlanta this afternoon, has indeed officially surrendered. I thought he was broke, Max. If we can look at this picture here and you weigh in, he's been saying, help me with my bills, Donald Trump. Why would you say loyal to somebody who just left you broke and broken? But I guess, grown man, your choice. Why is he taking a private plane if he's broke when Southwest flies direct?
Yeah, this is certainly a great case for opening your wallets for Rudy Giuliani. Though I'm not surprised he doesn't remember half of these people because he appeared to actually be sober in that video. So there's probably quite a bit he doesn't remember. And I'll tell you though, what really shocks me here is Rudy Giuliani was one of the first lawyers to use racketeering law to take down organized crime. And now he's going to Georgia and he's charged with organized crime. I mean, what a full circle that career has been.
And I do want to speak to Sheriff Labat, Fulton County Jail, which has its problems. We don't like jail, okay? The way it's misused and just privatized, all kinds of stuff. But the Fulton County Jail has problems. Sheriff Labat happens to be a good man. I like him. He's got to clean up the jail. But I do want to know more about the booking procedure. And nobody's mentioning strip search. And I don't have a problem with it because we got to make sure there's no contraband in the jail. They got enough to deal with there. I have to talk to Sheriff Labat about that. The remarks ahead of his travel to the Peach State, Giuliani told CNN he is headed to Fulton County Jail in Atlanta to comply with the law. Giuliani's team scheduled to meet with the district attorney's office Wednesday afternoon to negotiate bond. Once that's in place, Giuliani and his team will need to go to the Fulton County Sheriff's Office to surrender. Let's just let that marinate right there. Surrender. Wednesday morning, Kenneth Cheesebro, architect of the Trump campaign's fake electors plot, surrendered Fulton County Jail in Atlanta, bringing the total to 6 of the 19 charged in the scheme to be booked. Unlike other defendants, Giuliani plans to negotiate bond and turn himself in all on the same day, sources told CNN, adding that the former New York mayor wants to complete the process before the arrival of the showman. Donald Trump. Well, Trump, who has agreed to a $200,000 bond, other things on the list too, is expected to travel to Georgia for his surrender Thursday evening. Sources familiar with the plans told CNN. Meanwhile, this morning, Trump said he'll proudly be arrested in Georgia. Let's put it up. I'm not going to say it one more time. It's his social network. I'm not going to use the first word of it because it's just not true. It's not true. Oh, did I just do that? Well, a version of it. Nobody has ever fought for election integrity like President Donald J. Trump. For doing so, I will proudly be arrested tomorrow afternoon in Georgia. God bless the United States of America. Or Russia, depending on his mood. Yesterday, he had said something about, I'll just be a fugitive, I'll go to Russia, okay? Something about gold and a plane, what he said. Willis' sprawling criminal case were released Monday night. Disgraced lawyer John Eastman and Scott Hall, a bail bondsman and Fulton County Republican poll watcher, were the first defendants to hand themselves in on Tuesday for their alleged roles in the Georgia 2020 election interference case. Racketeering, boys. Eastman was released on a $100,000 bond, according to the Washington Post, and Hall was subsequently released on a $10,000 bond. Trump is expected to face the same conditions, including a mugshot when he hands himself in on Thursday. You, however, have whiners. Who's the whiner? Put up the whiner. Oh, there he is. Former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows asking a federal court to intervene in moving his deadline to surrender. Getty Images here. In an emergency motion asking for a judge to protect him, Meadows' attorneys quoted a Tuesday morning email from Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis to his lawyer saying she was not granting any extensions for surrender. Your client is no different than any other criminal defendant, Willis wrote. The 2 weeks was a tremendous courtesy. That from the Daily Beast. I don't know if Fani Willis is even 5'2" in heels, but she stands tall. She stands tall in some circles today. Another whiner, former DOJ official Jeffrey Clark, also asked the judge Tuesday to grant an emergency stay in the case, whining that he didn't have enough time to get down to Atlanta to surrender ahead of a Friday deadline. You didn't? He argued that he wanted to avoid the choice of making rush travel arrangements to fly into Atlanta or instead risking being labeled a fugitive. The request is part of larger filing by Clark begging to have his case moved to federal court, an ask already made by several other co-defendants, including Meadows. On Tuesday afternoon, the judge said that Willis had until 3 p.m. Wednesday to respond to Clark's filing. Well, what do you say? No salad bar in the federal penitentiary for you. There's not gonna be a salad bar. You're going to the Fulton County Jail and your case is gonna remain at the state level. And this is Georgia, okay? Your reaction to all of it, Max?
Well, these clowns are not ready for Fani Willis. I mean, there are not that many DAs in the country who have as much experience prosecuting organized crime cases as she does. And what really grates me is Rudy Giuliani saying he's been denied counsel. That's not true. You just haven't found a lawyer in Georgia willing to work with you. And many of the lawyers you work with have been charged with crimes. He could still get a public defender if he wanted. No one's denying him representation. His gripe is that he can't work with lawyers who actively collaborated with him on a crime. And that's the same for every single defendant in the country. So he, tell it to the judge, buddy.
Yeah, and Rudy Giuliani, it is fitting, right? Isn't it fitting that here we go, racketeering. You like to take credit for it. He's made that statement about how it's just ridiculous that, the guy who put away the mob, racketeering. Fani Willis she's in love with Rico. Picture Rico as a young, hot thing. And she's a cougar for Rico, okay? It's her favorite go-to tool. She loves it. When she talks about it, she just seems to get, you can feel it, okay? And there's gonna be cameras in the courtroom, and there's gonna be a mugshot for Trumpity Trump and his buddies. And it's fitting, isn't it, that it's gonna take this Black woman at the state level. Again, I don't like a RICO. I don't want all these people jailed and the key thrown away and all this stuff. But if she's successful, won't be a pardon. Georgia Governor Kemp, who you've already dogged out, Trump and company, Ruru, he can't give you a pardon. You're done. You're done. Last word quickly, if you could, Max.
Well, I think that you've really said it all. I mean, these are people who have built their case on a bunch of conspiracies and lies, and none of that's going to be admissible in court. So they better start thinking up some excuse, because Fani Willis has not just brought receipts, she's brought the whole book of receipts on all these people. That the indictment and charging document alone are an amazing read, and I encourage everyone to read all of it.
Yeah, it would be a great series. Ava DuVernay, maybe she'll write the series. I think it'll be a hit. It's gonna be a hit. Viola Davis, I don't know who would play Fani Willis. Sometimes I even think Nia Long. Nia Long's a good actress too. She could play Madam DA. We'll see. My biggest complaint is these are people who won't take responsibility for anything.